Chosen one, listen carefully. Heaven has pressed pause on everything else around you so that this message could reach you right now. You are not scrolling by accident. You are not here by coincidence. This is a divine interruption. You are different. You have always been different. That is why certain doors closed in your life, while others stayed wide open. That is why you felt misunderstood, rejected, even pushed aside, because you were never designed to blend in. You are set apart. You are marked. You are chosen. There is a fire in you that hell has tried to extinguish since the day you were born. And yet, despite every attack, despite every tear you have cried in secret, you are still here. That alone is proof of your calling. Darkness has tried to silence you, but the fact that you are breathing, the fact that you are reading these words right now, is a testimony. You cannot be destroyed. Beloved, this moment is holy. Pay attention. The Spirit is stirring. The assignment on your life cannot be ignored any longer. You have carried burdens that others would have collapsed under. You have walked through seasons of silence where it felt like God abandoned you. But what you did not know is that He was hiding you, preparing you, and shaping you in secret so that when you emerge, there will be no doubt you were sent by Him. Your uniqueness has always been your evidence. Others may not understand why you feel things so deeply, why your heart aches with compassion, or why injustice burns within you like fire. It is because you were chosen to carry His light into places most people fear to enter. And when you walk in, the atmosphere shifts. The unseen realm knows your name. The ancient words recorded in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 22, verse 14. For many are called, but few are chosen. Let these words settle deep into your spirit. The call goes out to many, but only a handful dare to rise, to answer, to step into destiny. You are one of those few. This is why the battle over your life has been so fierce. This is why the enemy has tried to bury you in shame, distraction, and despair. Because if you ever wake up to who you really are, hell will tremble. Chosen one, you are standing on a threshold. Heaven is extending an invitation, but you must respond. Do not delay. Do not push this off to another day, because hesitation is dangerous. Mercy is speaking now. The door is open now, and when the Spirit moves like this, you cannot afford to stay silent. This is your moment to step into alignment with what God is saying, to rise above the noise, to declare that you are not ordinary, to take your stand. You cannot keep what you refuse to acknowledge, and you cannot step into authority while denying your identity. This is the time to say yes. Every prophetic word carries weight, but the moment you act on it, the heavens take notice. When you share this, when you like this, when you open your mouth to declare your faith, you are not just interacting on a screen, you are taking prophetic action in the unseen realm. It is your way of saying, I agree, I align, I receive. Heaven records it, and hell fears it. Beloved, you must not scroll past this moment. Your obedience here is not about an algorithm, it is about alignment. Every step you take in faith is a seed, and every seed sown in obedience produces a harvest that cannot be stolen. This is why the enemy whispers, ignore it, move on. Nothing will change, because he knows the power of your yes. Right now, The Spirit is stirring within you. You feel it, that pull, that burning in your chest. That is not emotion. That is not chance. That is heaven tugging on you, saying, "It is time. You are chosen. Step into it. Walk in it. Claim it as yours." Do not underestimate this. What you decide in this moment is not small. It is the difference between wandering and walking in purpose, between silence and song, between being one of the many who were called and one of the few who dared to be chosen. Chosen one. I speak this into your spirit. You are rising. You are stepping into alignment. You will not stay small. You will not stay hidden. You will not remain in the shadows. The mantle is falling upon your shoulders, even now, and heaven is waiting for your response. So pause, breathe, recognize the holiness of this moment. Heaven is calling your name. This is the time to step forward boldly. This is the moment to declare, "I am chosen." Now, if your spirit agrees, take one prophetic step of action. Let your voice be heard. Declare your alignment. Seal this moment in faith. Comment this number below as your mark of agreement. 777. Chosen one. The battles you have walked through are not random. The pain you have carried is not meaningless. Every sleepless night, every tear shed in silence, every moment you wondered if anyone could see how much weight was pressing on your shoulders, heaven saw. You were never invisible. Even when people overlooked you, you were never abandoned. Even when it felt like no one understood, the weight you carry is evidence of the calling resting on your life. From the time you were young, you sensed that your journey was not like others. While others seemed carefree, you felt the heaviness of responsibility pressing into your spirit. While others laughed and played, you carried questions, visions, and burdens too deep for words. That tension you felt was not a curse. It was an early sign that you were chosen. You have been entrusted with spiritual sensitivity that makes you feel everything more deeply, but also equips you to discern what others cannot. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Isaiah, chapter 41, verse 10. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen and help. You need to know this. The weight you feel is not punishment. It is proof. Proof that heaven trusts you with battles others would not survive. Proof that your soul has been entrusted with assignments too heavy for ordinary people. Proof that your very existence is prophetic, shaking the unseen realm, even when you feel like you are stumbling. But here is the truth that often goes unnoticed. Carrying the weight alone is not what God designed for you. You were never meant to hold it without help. This is why your soul grows tired. This is why you feel stretched thin. Not because you are weak, but because even chosen vessels must learn to release, to pour out what God pours in, to surrender instead of suffocating in silence. Chosen one. Listen carefully. Your weariness is not a sign that you are failing. It is a signal that you are trying to carry holy things in human strength. You are not failing. You are simply being invited to lean, to yield, to place it back in the hands of the one who called you. Because he never calls without also sustaining. Look back at your life for a moment. Recall the times you thought you could not go on. The nights when your chest ached from crying. The mornings when you had no strength left to rise. And yet, somehow, you did. Somehow, You survived storms that swallowed others. Somehow, you are still standing. That somehow was never random. That was grace. That was divine strength made perfect in your weakness. That was heaven proving that the weight on you could not crush you, because the Spirit within you is greater. Understand this deeply. Chosen ones are refined in hidden places. The weight you carry is not meant to kill you, but to carve you into the vessel God can use. Oil only flows when olives are crushed. Diamonds only form under intense pressure. Gold only becomes pure through fire. You are not being destroyed, you are being refined. And yes, this refining feels lonely, because when others walk away, when support systems collapse, when your prayers seem unanswered, the silence feels unbearable. But in that silence, something sacred happens. Your roots grow deeper. Your spirit learns to hear whispers that are drowned out by noise. Your faith stops relying on applause and begins to rest on truth. Do not despise the weight. Chosen one, do not wish it away, for this weight is a mantle, not a curse. It is the very thing that sets you apart. It is heaven's mark upon your shoulders, declaring to the unseen realm, this one is mine. This one is chosen. This one will not be shaken. And know this, there is a reward for carrying what others cannot. The weight you carry now will become the authority you walk in later. The tears you cry now will become the oil of anointing on your life. The rejection you face now will become the strength that keeps you humble when you rise. The loneliness you endure now will become the clarity that allows you to lead others into freedom. Chosen one. Let these words wash over you. You are not weak for feeling weary. You are not broken for feeling heavy. You are not less because your soul aches. You are human, carrying divine purpose. And even when you feel like collapsing under the weight, heaven is holding you up. Lift your head. Straighten your shoulders. The weight you carry is not the end of you. It is the beginning of your testimony. Someday soon, you will look back on these burdens and realize they were training grounds, shaping you for the destiny you were born to fulfill. Chosen one. Life often hides its greatest tests inside the smallest choices, not the obvious battles where everyone sees you fighting, but the quiet crossroads when no one is watching. It is in these hidden moments that your true allegiance is revealed. The first test rarely comes with thunder and lightning. It comes in whispers, in subtle decisions, in the gentle tug of obedience versus the comfort of compromise. You know what it feels like. That moment when your heart burns because you sense what is right, but your flesh leans toward what is easy. That tension inside you that is not just conscience, it is destiny. It is heaven watching to see how you handle the little things. Because the way you respond to the little reveals whether you are ready for the great. Beloved, your life is proof that calling is not cheap. Every chosen one must pass through tests. Think of Abraham when he was asked to lay Isaac on the altar. Think of Esther when she had to risk her life before the king. Think of Daniel when he refused to bow to idols. Even though the furnace roared, each of them faced a first test where the decision seemed impossible, but their yes changed everything. The voice of God thundered in the book of Joshua, chapter 24, verse 15. Choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve. Chosen one. Do not underestimate the weight of small acts of obedience. When you resist bitterness, you pass a test. When you refuse to gossip, though your heart aches to speak, you pass a test. When you forgive the one who wronged you, you pass a test. These invisible victories echo louder in heaven than any stage, spotlight, or applause could ever give you. But here is the danger: hesitation. Delayed obedience is disobedience in disguise. The enemy whispers, "You have time. Do it later." But the truth is, every delay weakens resolve. Every postponed choice becomes a doorway for doubt. And soon, the first test is no longer small, it becomes a giant blocking your way. This is why heaven calls you to act quickly, to respond while the Spirit stirs, to say yes before fear steals your courage. Now pause. Reflect. What is your first test right now? Maybe it is to release what you have been holding on to so tightly. Maybe it is to silence your pride and take the humble path. Maybe it is to finally step forward into the assignment you keep postponing because it feels overwhelming. Whatever it is, know this: your obedience in this moment will unlock the next door. And here, I call you to take prophetic action, not tomorrow, not later, but now. Write this short declaration as a comment: I choose light. Oh, why this phrase? Because the first test is always about alignment. Darkness calls you to comfort, resentment, and self-preservation. Light calls you to surrender, forgiveness, and courage. By typing these 3 words, you are doing more than posting a comment. You are putting your spirit on record. You are saying to heaven, I stand with you. You are saying to your own soul, I will no longer hesitate. And you are saying to the enemy, I cannot be bought. I cannot be bribed. I cannot be broken. I choose light. This declaration is not empty. It is a seed planted in faith. It is you stepping beyond passivity and into purpose. Every time you make that choice in the secret place, in the marketplace, in the conversations no one else hears, you are building spiritual muscles. You are showing heaven that you are trustworthy, and you are sending a clear message to the kingdom of darkness. This one belongs to the Lord. And chosen one, this is your test. Will you obey in the small so that you can be trusted with the great? Will you choose light when darkness tempts you with shortcuts? Will you rise when fear tells you to bow? Remember, destinies are not lost in one dramatic fall. They are forfeited in a series of small compromises. But destinies are also unlocked in a series of small, faithful yeses. Lift your eyes now. The test is before you. But you are not alone. The Spirit who called you is also the one who strengthens you. You are not expected to walk this road by sheer willpower. Grace is your companion. Mercy is your covering. Power is your portion. The choice is yours, but the strength to carry it out is already within you. Pass this first test. Chosen one, not for applause, not for validation, but because the one who called you deserves your yes. And when you give it, heaven rejoices, hell trembles, and your destiny takes another step toward fulfillment. Chosen one, there comes a moment when heaven's patience shifts. For seasons, mercy has walked beside you, covering your missteps, pulling you back from the edge, softening consequences that could have broken you. But mercy does not walk endlessly. There is a line, an invisible point where delay turns dangerous, and hesitation becomes rebellion. And when that moment arrives, it is not that God ceases to love you, but that His Spirit steps back and allows you to feel the true weight of your choices. This is what it means when mercy pauses. It is not punishment, it is warning. It is a holy silence, meant to awaken you from slumber, to shake you from distraction, to remind you that life is not infinite and destiny is not optional. Mercy is patient. Yes, but it is not passive. Mercy is meant to lead you to decision, not to enable endless wandering. Many of your struggles have not come from the enemy's attacks, but from your own delays. You felt the nudge of the Spirit, but you said, later. You sensed the urgency to let go of certain patterns, but you whispered, tomorrow, and slowly. The weight of postponed obedience began to pile up, until the delay itself became bondage. That is when judgment begins to hum in the distance, not as wrath to destroy you, but as consequence waiting for the door you keep opening. The Spirit spoke through the ancient text in the book of Genesis, chapter 6, verse 3, "My spirit shall not strive with man forever." Consider the story of Saul. He was called anointed, empowered, yet his partial obedience led to his downfall. He still sacrificed. He still performed religious duties, but he failed the test of full surrender. And the prophet Samuel told him that obedience was better than sacrifice. Saul's tragedy was not one act of evil, but a pattern of hesitation, excuses, and delayed obedience. Mercy had carried him for a time, but when it paused, the kingdom was torn from his hands. Beloved, hear this. You are not Saul. You are not abandoned. But the warning remains. Do not mistake delayed consequences for divine approval. Just because the ground has not swallowed you, just because the heavens have not thundered, does not mean heaven is silent in approval. Sometimes the silence is mercy's pause, waiting for your turn. This is why the hum of judgment is so sobering. Judgment is not merely fire from the skies. It is the natural end of paths walked too long without correction. It is the chain tightening around ankles that once were free. It is the eyes that once saw clearly now growing dim. It is the ears that once heard whispers now deafened by noise. Judgment is not always loud. It is often subtle, like a shadow falling over a once bright soul. But here is the good news. If you can still feel the weight of this warning, mercy has not fully stepped away. The very fact that these words pierce your spirit is proof that heaven is still reaching, still pulling, still offering a way back. The hum of judgment may be near, but the door of grace is not yet shut. The pause of mercy is not its end, it is its sharpest call. So what do you do in this space? You surrender. You repent not with words only, but with choices. You stop excusing what you know is wrong. You silence the voice that says, "One more time won't matter." You bend the knee of your will and confess, "Lord, I cannot carry this anymore." That posture unlocks the floodgates of grace. That moment of humility turns the pause of mercy into the roar of forgiveness. Chosen one, do not gamble with the timing of God. You do not know how many pauses remain before silence becomes final. Treat every whisper, every nudge, every warning as sacred. Do not delay. Do not harden your heart. The hum of judgment is not meant to terrify you into despair. It is meant to awaken you into action. Remember, the difference between those who fall and those who rise is not perfection, but response. David sinned grievously, yet his repentance restored him. Saul excused his choices, and his crown slipped away. The line between the two was not the severity of sin, but the posture of their hearts. Chosen one. Mercy is pausing. Judgment is humming. But hope is still speaking. What you do now will echo for eternity. Do not turn away from the weight of this moment. Let it shake you. Let it sober you. Let it drive you back into the arms that have been open all along. Chosen one. There comes a moment when the mantle of destiny stops hovering above you and begins to rest upon your shoulders. That moment is holy, weighty, and inescapable. The mantle is not fabric, yet it feels heavy like a cloak. It is not stitched by human hands, but woven by heaven's design. And when it falls upon you, everything changes. Your vision, your authority, your very walk in this world. Think of Elijah and Elisha. The mantle was not handed with speeches or ceremonies. It was a simple gesture. Elijah threw his cloak over Elisha as he worked in the field. That single act shifted Elisha's life forever. He left his plow, burned his oxen, and followed destiny. The mantle may arrive quietly, but it never leaves you unchanged. Beloved, your life has been preparing for this mantle. The battles you have endured, the burdens you have carried, the loneliness you have felt, all of it has been leading here. Heaven has kept record of every tear, every prayer, every moment you stood when you wanted to fall. And now, the mantle is extending toward you. Will you receive it? The prophet Elijah spoke, as recorded in the first book of Kings, chapter 19, verse 19. Elijah went up to him and threw his cloak around him. That same prophetic act echoes in your life right now. The cloak of destiny is brushing across your shoulders. You may not feel fabric, but you feel the stirring. You sense the shift. You know deep down that you cannot keep living small, because greatness is calling your name. This is why it matters that you stay connected. Think of this space not as a screen, but as a fire. Every like, every share, every word of encouragement is a spark added to the flame. When you subscribe, when you stay near, it is like returning to the campfire where warmth spreads, light expands, and no one freezes in the dark. When you give, when you sow even a small gift, it is not payment, it is wood for the fire, fuel that ensures the blaze does not die out. Imagine a river flowing through a desert, alone. It nourishes a small patch of land, but when streams connect, when tributaries join, the desert begins to bloom into a garden. That is what happens when you engage, when you contribute, not because the message needs you to exist, but because your participation multiplies its reach, turning one small stream into a flood that waters countless lives. Chosen one. Do not underestimate what happens when you partner with what heaven is doing. Your simple act of pressing share is like planting a seed that grows into a tree of shelter for someone else. Your act of subscribing is like fastening your tent to the camp so that you are not swept away by the winds of distraction. Your donation, however small, is like pouring oil into a lamp, ensuring the light continues to shine in places you may never physically go. And remember, this is not about transaction, it is about transformation. Just as Elisha's future was forever altered when he responded to Elijah's cloak, your future shifts when you respond in obedience to the mantle touching you now. Each act of alignment is not about supporting a person, it is about honoring the assignment. Perhaps you feel unworthy to carry such a mantle. Perhaps the weight of your past whispers, "Not you," but the very fact that you sense this stirring is proof that heaven has already chosen you. God does not throw cloaks on random shoulders. He places them with precision. And if the cloak is brushing your spirit now, it is because you were born to wear it. Chosen one. Picture yourself standing in a field. Much like Elisha, you are plowing the same ground day after day, feeling like life is endless repetition. Suddenly, a cloak brushes across your back. You stop. You look up. Everything inside you knows life will never be the same. That is what is happening in this moment. Do not miss it. Do not shrug it off. Receive it with awe, humility, and gratitude. But also receive it with action. Do not let this fire burn alone in the dark. Add your spark. Add your oil. Add your stream to the river. Let the mantle you receive become a mantle others can see and feel through your witness, your partnership, your faithfulness. Beloved, this mantle is your invitation and your responsibility. Wear it well. Walk with it boldly. Guard it with reverence. And let your connection here be one of the ways you honor it. For mantles are not for display, they are for impact. And the more you walk in yours, the more others will find the courage to walk in theirs. Chosen one. When the light of your calling begins to shine brighter, the shadows will try to press in closer. You may not always see them, but the enemy has strategies. His tactics are ancient, refined across centuries. Yet they are also predictable to those with eyes to see. And you, as one marked by heaven, must not be ignorant of them. Awareness is your shield. Discernment, your sword. The first strategy is distraction. The enemy rarely begins with destruction. He begins with noise. He fills your days with busyness, your nights with scrolling, your mind with endless chatter. He knows that if he cannot destroy you, he can dilute you. A distracted chosen one loses focus. And without focus, power leaks away. The second strategy is doubt. He whispers lies into your ear, not always with shouting, but with subtle questions. Did God really call you? Are you truly chosen? If you were, why would life look like this? His goal is not to prove you wrong in one moment, but to wear you down with constant erosion. Like water carving stone, doubt left unchallenged becomes disbelief, and disbelief births paralysis. The third strategy is delay. He tempts you to push obedience into the future, to postpone what must be done today. He knows that delayed obedience robs you of momentum and makes tomorrow harder than today. What feels like a harmless later becomes a prison over time, chaining you to cycles of never starting, never finishing, never moving forward. But heaven does not leave you unaware. The words of Jesus in the Gospel of John, chapter 10, verse 10, shine like a lantern in the night. The thief comes only to steal and kill and destroy. I have come that they may have life, and have it to the full. Chosen one. This is why you must remain vigilant, not fearful. Fear gives the enemy ground, but vigilant, watchful, discerning. When distractions come, you must ask, does this serve my calling or steal from it? When doubt whispers, you must answer with truth, remembering that if God has marked you, no lie can unmark you. When delay tempts, you must act swiftly, choosing obedience even when you do not feel ready. Think of Nehemiah on the wall. The enemy tried to distract him with constant invitations to meetings, to pull him from the work of rebuilding Jerusalem's walls. But Nehemiah answered firmly, "I am doing a great work and cannot come down." That must be your posture. You cannot come down from your wall to entertain shadows. You cannot pause your assignment to argue with lies. You cannot delay your building because fear tells you tomorrow will be easier. The enemy fears your momentum more than your moments of weakness. If he can keep you from moving, he has already stolen your victory. But when you take even small steps, when you pray again, when you forgive again, when you rise again, the darkness trembles, because it knows your consistency is a force it cannot withstand. Now, hear this prophetic act to expose the enemy's strategies and declare your refusal to bow. I invite you to write this number as a comment, 404. Why 404? Because it is a symbol of what the enemy intends. In the language of the digital world, 404 means missing, lost, not found. That is exactly what the thief wants your purpose to become, missing from your life. Lost to delay, not found in your generation. But by typing 404, you flip the meaning. You declare, "My destiny will not be missing. My calling will not be lost. My crown will not be hidden. I am found, chosen, alive." Every time you type 404, you are taking back what the enemy tried to erase. You are reminding your soul that you are not wandering without direction. You are walking under divine guidance. You are telling the unseen realm, what was meant to be stolen will be restored. What was meant to die will live. What was meant to be destroyed will rise. Under chosen one. The strategies of darkness may be old, but your light is eternal. The thief may plot, but heaven has already declared victory. You are not a victim of schemes. You are a vessel of power. The same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead lives in you. And no distraction, no doubt, no delay can silence what heaven has set in motion. So, sharpen your focus, guard your heart, stay awake, and when shadows creep close, let them find a warrior clothed in light, not a soul lulled to sleep, for you are chosen, and chosen ones cannot be lost, cannot be erased, cannot be deleted. Not now, not ever. Type it, declare it, seal it. 404. Chosen one. The path you walk is not without cost. Destiny is a treasure. But treasures are never given freely. They are always unlocked by sacrifice. The weight you carry cannot be lifted by shortcuts. And the doors you long to see open cannot be forced with human effort. Heaven requires surrender, not in theory, but in action. Sacrifice is the divine exchange that loosens chains. It is the moment when you release what you thought you could not live without and discover that God Himself was all you ever needed. It is when you lay down comfort, pride, or possessions, and in return, heaven places upon you authority, clarity, and peace. The Spirit once spoke through the prophet Samuel in the first book of Kings, chapter 15, verse 22, "To obey is better than sacrifice, and to heed is better than the fat of rams." Chosen one, your sacrifices carry generational weight. What you choose to release in obedience becomes an inheritance for those who come after you. Your yes today will echo in your children, your family, and even strangers who will be touched by your faithfulness. Do not underestimate the ripple of one surrendered act, but understand this sacrifice is never comfortable. It will always press against the parts of you that cling the hardest. For some, it is pride. For others, it is bitterness. For many, it is control. The altar always demands what your flesh wants to keep. Yet the paradox is that what feels like loss becomes gain. What feels like death births new life. Think of the seed in the soil. If it remains in your hand, it feels safe. But a seed never multiplies until it is buried, until it dies in the darkness of the ground. Only then does it break open and release the life hidden inside. That is sacrifice. You cannot cling to the seed and expect a harvest. You must let it go. Trust the soil and believe that God will bring forth fruit in due season. And yes, sometimes sacrifice means relationships, not because every person who leaves is your enemy, but because not all are called to walk with you into your next chapter. Letting go is painful, but some ties must break for you to rise. You cannot soar if you are anchored to those who refuse to move. Love them, bless them, release them, but do not let them hold you hostage when God is calling you forward. Other times, sacrifice means habits, patterns that have given you comfort but kept you small. Entertainment that numbs you but steals your time. Words you speak over yourself that chain you instead of free you. These are not just harmless routines, they are weights that slow your race. And the race you are running is too urgent for unnecessary burdens. Chosen one. Do not resist when God places his finger on something and says, "Lay this down." He is not trying to strip you of joy. He is trying to prepare you for glory. He never asks for less without planning to give you more. The altar is never empty. It is always an exchange. And know this, sacrifice is not only about giving up, it is also about taking on, sacrificing bitterness to take on forgiveness, sacrificing fear to take on courage, sacrificing silence to take on boldness. Every release makes room for a greater filling. Every no to the flesh makes way for a louder yes to the Spirit. Look at Jesus. His entire life was sacrifice, culminating on the cross. He laid down his glory, his comfort, his very breath. But the story did not end in death. It ended in resurrection, in triumph, in a kingdom that will never fall. His sacrifice unlocked salvation for the world. And you, walking in his footsteps, carry that same pattern. Surrender, then resurrection. Loss, then gain. Death, then life. Chosen one. This is your invitation. To step onto the altar, not in fear but in trust. To say, "Lord, take what I cannot keep, and give me what I cannot lose." To realize that everything you release is not gone, it is transformed. The ashes of sacrifice become the oil of anointing. The tears of surrender become rivers of joy. The broken pieces you lay down become the foundation for miracles you cannot yet see. Sacrifice is the key that turns the lock of your destiny. Without it, the door remains closed. With it, the hinges swing wide. It may feel heavy now, but on the other side is freedom, so vast that you will wonder why you clung to chains for so long. Do not fear the altar. Chosen one. Approach it with trembling, yes, but also with hope. For every flame that touches what you lay down is not consuming you, it is consuming what holds you back. And when the fire clears, you will rise lighter, freer, stronger, crowned with glory, chosen one. Within you burns a fire that is often misunderstood. People may have called it temper, stubbornness, or even rebellion. But what they could not see is that it is not mere human emotion. It is a sacred anger. This anger rises when you encounter injustice, when you see lies parading as truth, when you watch darkness trying to masquerade as light. It is not born from ego, it is born from the Spirit who dwells in you. Sacred anger is not a rage that destroys indiscriminately. It is a force that awakens, a fire that refuses to bow to compromise. It is the cry of your soul that says, "This is not how it was meant to be." It is the same fire that stirred Moses to confront Pharaoh, the same flame that burned in Nehemiah when he saw the walls of Jerusalem in ruins, the same zeal that consumed Jesus when he overturned tables in the temple. The Apostle Paul's words in the letter to the Ephesians, chapter 4, verse 26. Cut through the noise, be angry and do not sin. But sacred anger must be refined, left unchecked. It can consume you, directed by the Spirit. It can change nations, like fire. It can either burn down a house or warm an entire family. The difference lies in control. A chosen one learns to channel their anger into prayer, into strategy, into bold steps that build rather than destroy. Think of David when he faced Goliath. What stirred him was not mere courage, it was outrage. How dare this uncircumcised Philistine defy the armies of the living God? That holy indignation propelled him into battle when others cowered. And yet, his anger did not lead him to strike out blindly. It led him to take aim with precision, guided by the Spirit. And one stone brought down a giant. In your life, sacred anger will often be misunderstood. People may say, "Why do you care so much? Why don't you just let it go?" But you cannot, because your fire was not given to be extinguished by apathy. You are not called to fit comfortably into a broken system. You are called to confront, to rebuild, to restore. Yet, remember this balance. Sacred anger is never about vengeance. Vengeance belongs to the Lord. Sacred anger is about alignment. It is about partnering with heaven to see justice, truth, and righteousness established on earth. It is about saying, "Not my will, but yours be done." Even when your flesh longs to lash out, there will be moments when anger wells up in you so strongly that it shakes your body. In those moments, you must pause and breathe. Do not let your tongue become a weapon for destruction. Do not let your hands be instruments of harm. Instead, channel that surge into prayer. "Lord, show me what to do with this fire." Aim it where you want it to burn. When you do this, anger becomes fuel rather than poison. Chosen one. Your sacred anger is proof that you carry heaven's DNA. Apathy is a sign of the world. Fire is a sign of the Spirit. The fact that you cannot remain silent in the face of wrong is evidence that your light terrifies the darkness. But never forget, the greatest victories are not won through rage, but through righteousness. Your anger must always kneel at the feet of God, or else it will consume you rather than propel you. Even Jesus, when he overturned the tables, did so with purpose. He was not out of control, he was fulfilling prophecy. His zeal was not chaos, it was cleansing. That is the model of sacred anger. It is bold, but it is guided. It is fierce, but it is fruitful. So, when the fire rises in you, do not suppress it as though it were shameful. Do not let others convince you that it makes you unspiritual. Instead, recognize it as a signal from heaven. Here lies your assignment. Here lies the injustice you were born to confront. Here lies the place where your mantle carries weight. Chosen one, your anger is not your downfall. It is your doorway. When surrendered to God, it will not scatter your strength. It will sharpen it. It will not push people away. It will draw the right ones near. It will not destroy you. It will crown you. Walk carefully, but do not walk timidly. Guard your heart, but do not silence your fire. For this anger is not ordinary. It is sacred. It is chosen, and it was placed in you for such a time as this. Chosen one. Fire alone is not enough. You can burn with zeal, but without alignment, the fire turns wild. Destiny is not fulfilled by passion alone, but by discipline that channels passion in the right direction. Alignment is the sacred practice of bringing your life into harmony with heaven's rhythm, of training your spirit so that your words, your thoughts, your actions, and your habits all echo the same song of obedience. Discipline is not a prison, it is a pathway. Athletes train not because they hate freedom, but because they desire victory. Musicians practice scales not because they despise creativity, but because mastery is born through repetition. In the same way, chosen ones adopt spiritual disciplines not to limit life, but to expand it. Not to kill joy, but to deepen it. We are reminded in the first letter of Paul to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 7, discipline yourself for the purpose of godliness. This is a call not to legalism, but to alignment. You cannot expect to walk in authority if your daily life drifts aimlessly. The enemy thrives in disorder, but God moves through alignment. Prayer, fasting, worship, meditation on the Word. These are not rituals to impress others, but spiritual exercises that strengthen the muscles of your soul. Chosen one. Think of alignment as tuning an instrument. A guitar, my look perfect, its strings intact, its body polished. Yet, if the strings are out of tune, the sound it produces will be harsh and unpleasant. Your life may look fine on the outside, but without alignment, the music of your spirit will clash instead of harmonize. Alignment tunes your soul to heaven's pitch so that your life produces a melody that heals rather than wounds. Prayer is one form of this tuning. It is not merely reciting words, it is conversation. Alignment of your will with God's. Fasting is another. Stripping away distractions so that your hunger is sharpened for things eternal. Worship lifts your eyes from problems to the one who reigns above them. Meditation on the Word fills your mind with truth that silences the lies of the enemy. Each of these disciplines shapes you, steadying your fire so it burns with purpose. But alignment also requires boundaries. Just as a river is most powerful when it flows between banks, your life gains force when you set holy limits. Not every voice deserves your ear. Not every habit deserves your time. Not every opportunity deserves your yes. Discipline is the courage to say no to lesser things so that you can say yes to the greater call. Chosen one. Let me speak plainly. Destiny demands structure. Without it, you will waste energy on detours, distractions, and dead ends. But with it, you will run with clarity. Even storms cannot drown a soul that is anchored. Even winds cannot scatter a tree whose roots run deep. Alignment is the secret strength of the chosen. And now, I call you to act in a prophetic symbol. Write this short phrase as a declaration in the comments. I stand firm. And two, why this phrase? Because standing firm is the essence of alignment. It is the refusal to bend under pressure, the determination to stay rooted when storms howl, the choice to remain unshaken by lies and distractions. When you type those 3 words, you are doing more than posting. You are making a spiritual stand. You are telling heaven, my life is tuned to your will. You are telling yourself, I will not drift. And you are telling the enemy, I cannot be moved. Epstein, this declaration aligns with your training. It is short, but it is sharp. Each time you declare it, you are hammering a stake into the ground of your destiny, marking territory that cannot be stolen. The unseen realm takes note when chosen ones declare their position. Chosen one. The time has come to move beyond good intentions and into daily alignment. Do not despise the small practices, for they create great strength. Do not ignore the quiet disciplines, for they prepare you for loud victories. You are being trained like a soldier, like an athlete, like a torchbearer in a dark world. And the training is not to burden you, it is to prepare you for the crown. Remember, fire without discipline burns out. Passion without alignment fizzles. But passion coupled with discipline becomes unstoppable. Your alignment will frustrate the plans of darkness. Your consistency will outlast storms. Your rootedness will cause others to find shade beneath your branches. This is your call. Discipline yourself for godliness. Train your spirit. Tune your life. And declare with faith, in action and in word, I stand firm. Chosen one. Authority is not a title you wear, it is a weight you carry. When heaven marks you, your words gain power. Your presence shifts atmospheres, and your very steps disturb the plans of darkness. But authority is not automatic, it must be cultivated, received, and walked in. It is like a set of keys given by Christ, yet useless if left in your pocket. Jesus himself declared in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 16, verse 17, these signs will accompany those who believe. In my name they will drive out demons, they will speak in new tongues. These words are not poetry, they are a transfer of authority. Belief births boldness, and boldness unlocks signs, wonders, and victories. Think of authority as light breaking through a locked door. Without keys, you can only push and strain. With keys, the door opens effortlessly. That is what walking in authority feels like, where once you battled endlessly in your strength, now a single word spoken in alignment with heaven shifts reality. But hear this, chosen one, authority does not thrive in isolation. Just as a fire burns brighter when more logs are placed together, your mantle grows stronger when you remain connected to the flow of teaching, encouragement, and community. Each time you subscribe, share, or even sow into this work, you are adding wood to the fire. You are helping ensure that the light of truth continues to spread, not just to you, but to countless others stumbling in darkness. Think of it another way. Imagine a vineyard. A single branch cannot produce grapes if cut off from the vine. Likewise, the flow of anointing does not grow when you are disconnected. Every act of engagement, liking, sharing, supporting is like staying attached to the vine, ensuring the life of the Spirit continues to flow freely through you. And when it comes to giving, never see it as losing. Giving is sowing. It is like placing a seed into fertile soil. You may not see growth immediately, but underground something is stirring. Roots are spreading, and in due time, the harvest bursts forth. Every donation you make is not just an offering, it is a seed in eternity, a tangible expression of alignment that heaven never overlooks. Even the smallest seed carries potential for forests. Even the smallest drop of oil can keep a lamp burning through the night. Your contribution, whether a whisper or a roar, adds to the sound of heaven's work on earth. You are not a spectator in this calling. You are a partner. Authority also requires humility. Remember that the keys are given, not earned. You cannot boast in what you did not create. Your authority comes not from your cleverness or strength, but from your surrender. The more you bend the knee, the higher heaven lifts you. The more you pour out, the fuller your vessel becomes. Chosen one. Signs and wonders are not distant dreams. They are the natural fruit of walking in authority. When you speak truth, chains break. When you pray in faith, healing flows. When you walk in love, hearts soften. Authority is not about domination, but about liberation, setting captives free, opening blind eyes, bringing light where there has only been shadow. You may feel unqualified, but the authority rests not on your resume, but on your belief. Remember Peter, once a fisherman, fearful and impulsive, yet his shadow healed the sick. Remember Paul, once a persecutor, yet his handkerchiefs carried healing power. If God can entrust authority to them, He can surely entrust it to you. So lift your head. Recognize what rests in your hands. Stop living as though you are powerless, for you are anything but powerless. The keys are already yours. Use them. Speak boldly. Walk confidently. Act faithfully. And remain connected so that your authority is constantly refreshed, sharpened, and fueled by the fire of community. Every time you engage here, every time you give, every time you share this light, you are strengthening not just your own walk, but the reach of heaven's message to others. You are building altars in places you may never step, planting seeds in hearts you may never meet, and extending your authority into lives across the earth. Beloved, this is the moment to recognize that your mantle is real. Your keys are in hand, and your assignment is urgent. Do not bury your authority in silence. Do not let fear convince you that you are small. You are a chosen one, carrying heaven's weight. Walk as such. Chosen one. Betrayal is a wound sharper than most. It is not an arrow from afar, but a dagger from someone close. Strangers cannot betray you. Only those who once shared your bread, your trust, your secrets. And that is what makes the pain so fierce. It comes wrapped in familiarity. The writings of David in the Psalms. Chapter 41. Verse 9. Speak directly to this ache, even my close friend, someone I trusted, one who shared my bread. has turned against me." David's cry echoes through time, reminding us that betrayal is not new. Every chosen one has walked this valley, and every chosen one has discovered that even this valley serves a purpose. You know the sting. You remember the moments when someone you defended turned their back, when someone you supported spoke against you, when someone you trusted twisted your words. The wound does not just bruise the heart, it shakes your very sense of safety. How could this person, of all people, do this? Yet betrayal, painful as it is, becomes a refining fire. It strips away illusions, burns away misplaced trust, and forces you to anchor yourself not in people, but in God. For as long as you lean fully on human approval, your destiny remains vulnerable. Betrayal severs that cord, painful but necessary, and binds you more tightly to heaven. Look at Joseph, sold by his brothers, abandoned in a pit, and forgotten in prison. His betrayal was brutal, yet without it, he never would have reached Pharaoh's palace. What others meant for evil, God bent toward good. The betrayal became the bridge. Look at Jesus. Judas, one of the 12, dipped bread with him at the table and then handed him over with a kiss. Yet even Judas's betrayal was woven into redemption's story. Without the betrayal, the cross would not have come. Without the cross, salvation would not have been complete. Chosen one. Betrayal hurts because you loved deeply, and love is never wasted. Even when it is rejected, it shapes you into the likeness of Christ. The betrayal you endured is not proof of weakness. It is evidence of your capacity to carry divine love. You were strong enough to let someone close, even at the risk of being wounded. That strength, though costly, is holy. But betrayal does more than test love. It purifies loyalty. It asks you, who will you trust now? Will you let bitterness take root? Or will you choose to keep your heart soft before God? Many stumble here, building walls so high that no one can ever come close again. But walls that keep out pain also keep out joy. Healing comes not by shutting down, but by opening up again. This time, with discernment, anchored in God's leading. This fire of betrayal also reshapes your voice. People who have walked through it carry a depth that others cannot fake. Their words cut deeper. Their prayers thunder louder, because they know what it feels like to be pierced. Pain becomes oil. Betrayal becomes authority. Your testimony becomes weighty, not in theory, but in lived experience. Remember, chosen one, no betrayal can derail your destiny. It may detour, delay, or wound you, but it cannot cancel what heaven has written. In fact, betrayal often accelerates the very calling it tried to destroy. For every Judas, there is a resurrection waiting on the other side. For every pit, there is a palace. For every wound, there is a crown. Do not let betrayal define you. Let it refine you. Do not let it harden your heart. Let it deepen your compassion. Do not let it silence your voice. Let it sharpen your testimony. You are not the betrayal you suffered. You are the vessel being purified through it. Chosen one. Think of betrayal like a forge. The flames burn hot. The hammer strikes hard, but the metal emerges stronger, sharper, more unbreakable. You are being forged, and when you emerge, you will not only survive betrayal, You will carry authority because of it. So lift your eyes. Do not stare endlessly at the wound. Let the healer tend it. Let the pain teach you. Let the fire shape you. Betrayal is not the end. It is one chapter in your story. And when read in full, it will be seen as the moment that turned weakness into strength, sorrow into song, rejection into refinement. Your crown will carry the mark of betrayal, but it will shine all the brighter for it. Chosen one. There are moments in life when heaven places before you a sign so clear, so undeniable, that you cannot ignore it. It is like standing before a gate with a number carved into its archway, glowing with meaning. Only your spirit can fully grasp. This is what I call the prophetic number gate. It is not superstition. It is not coincidence. It is a language of heaven. A way God marks moments so that you can anchor your faith in something tangible. Chosen one. The prophetic number gate is not just a doorway into a new season. It is also a mirror that shows you who you are becoming. Each time, heaven highlights a number. It is as though God is whispering, "Pay attention, this is not ordinary." You are not simply passing through time. Time itself bends to align with your destiny. When you step into 888, you are stepping into a rhythm already orchestrated by heaven, long before you even recognized it. Think of the farmer who marks his fields before planting. The markings are not the harvest, but they are the boundaries that guarantee one will come. So too with 888. It marks your field, your territory, your space of inheritance. You have felt overlooked before, but this number tells you that your name is etched in heaven's record. You will not be bypassed. Beloved, hold this number close. Let it become more than a comment. It can be your prayer, your meditation, your anchor when storms rise. Whisper it when doubt creeps in. Write it where your eyes can see. Let 888 remind you that resurrection power flows through you, that your beginning is not behind, but ahead. This is your seal, your symbol, your sign. The prophet once recorded in the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, verse 2, "Write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it." These words carry a secret. When vision is made visible, it strengthens resolve. What was once abstract becomes clear. What was once hidden becomes actionable. Numbers, when revealed prophetically, serve as visible anchors for invisible truths. Think of the Exodus. The Israelites walked through the wilderness with instructions measured out 40 years. 12 tribes, 10 commandments. Think of the temple, where every measurement was exact, every number deliberate, echoing divine order. God has always used numbers as symbols to mark his plans and his timings. And now, chosen one, heaven is inviting you into this same pattern. The number I am about to give you is not random. It is not chosen lightly. It is a key, a code, a prophetic symbol meant to seal what has been stirring in your heart. That number is 888. Why 888? Because while 7 often marks completion, 8 marks new beginnings. And a triple repetition is not just emphasis, it is heaven shouting. 888 is the symbol of resurrection, of fresh cycles, of doors swinging open that no man can shut. It is the declaration that you are stepping into a season where old things die and new things are born. Chosen one. Think of it like this. You have walked through cycles of trial, loss, and delay. You have carried the weight of betrayals, of sacrifices, of hidden refining fires. But now, the season is shifting. The gate of 888 stands before you. And to walk through it, you must agree. You must mark it with your declaration, not silently, but visibly, as a sign of alignment. When you type this number, 888, you are not just interacting with a screen. You are writing the vision plainly. You are inscribing it upon your own heart. You are declaring, I am ready for the new. I am stepping into resurrection. I am choosing beginnings over endings, life over death, destiny over delay. Then, this number is more than digits. It is a prophetic act. Just as the Israelites marked their doorposts with blood to signal protection, just as prophets wrote visions on scrolls so they could be carried through generations, you are marking your moment. You are saying, this is not just another word I've heard. This is my word. This is my gate. This is my beginning. Chosen one. Pause and feel the weight of this. You have carried long enough. You have waited long enough. Heaven is placing before you a gate marked 888. To pass through, you must believe. To seal it, you must declare your obedience. To type it, to write it, to make it visible. This is how you step through. Remember, prophetic numbers are not magic. They are mirrors. They reflect what God is already stirring within you. They take what is invisible and make it visible, so that your faith has something to hold on to when storms rage and doubts whisper. And 888 is your mirror today, showing you resurrection, renewal, and release. Chosen one. The door is open. The mantle is waiting. The season of endings has passed. Resurrection is here. Write it. Declare it. Seal it. Step into it. Comment this number now. 888. Chosen one. Destiny is not only about receiving, it is about stewarding. A harvest is promised. Yes, but harvests demand strategy. Without strategy, fruit rots in the field. Blessings slip through careless hands, and opportunities vanish like smoke. You have endured the planting, the watering, and the waiting. Now, as heaven brings increase, you must learn how to manage abundance so that it multiplies instead of disappears. The words of Jesus in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 9, verse 37. Speak to this moment. The harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. Notice that he did not say the harvest was scarce. He declared it was abundant. The limitation was never supply. It was readiness. The same is true for you. The harvest of your obedience is not small. But without discipline and wisdom, you risk losing what heaven entrusts to you. Harvest strategy begins with recognition. You must open your eyes to see the fruit around you. Too often, chosen ones focus only on what is missing, overlooking what has already come. Gratitude sharpens vision. When you thank God for even small beginnings, you train your eyes to see growth where others see emptiness. Gratitude is the first tool of stewardship. The next strategy is gathering. Fruit on the ground cannot feed nations. It must be collected, stored, and distributed. For you, this means taking intentional steps, writing down ideas, organizing resources, building systems that allow blessings to grow instead of scatter. Do not despise order. It is the net that catches abundance. Without nets, the fish swim away. But harvesting is not only about collecting, it is also about sorting. Not every opportunity is meant for you. Not every door is divine. Just as a farmer separates wheat from weeds, you must discern what is truly from heaven and what is a distraction dressed as blessing. The enemy knows how to plant counterfeit fruit. Without discernment, you may waste energy carrying what does not belong to your assignment. Chosen one. Multiplication is the heart of harvest strategy. Remember the parable of the talents. The servant who buried his gift lost it, but those who invested multiplied. What you do with what you have now determines what heaven releases next. Do not hide your resources, talents, or wisdom. Put them to work. Plant them again. Share them. When you pour out, heaven pours in. And do not overlook rest as part of strategy. A harvester who never pauses collapses in the field. Rest is not laziness, it is preparation for longevity. You must learn when to work tirelessly and when to step back so that your strength renews. Even the land in Israel was commanded to rest every 7th year. Without rest, harvests lose their rhythm. Betrayal, sacrifice, and refining have shaped you for this moment. They were not wasted, they were preparation. You are not stepping into harvest by accident. You are stepping into it because you have endured the seasons when nothing grew. You did not give up in drought, and that perseverance has qualified you to handle abundance. But hear this warning: abundance without humility breeds pride. Harvest can intoxicate if you forget its source. Remember always that the fruit in your hands is not your doing alone, it is grace. You watered, you labored, yes, but it was God who gave increase. Keep your heart bowed low, even as your fields grow wide. Gratitude and humility are the fences that protect your harvest from pride's wildfire. Chosen one. The harvest is not only for you, it is for those around you, for those coming after you, for those who cannot sow for themselves. Your strategy must always include generosity. A harvest hoarded spoils, but a harvest shared multiplies. When you give, you plant new seeds in other lives, ensuring that your harvest outlives you. This is how chosen ones build legacies, not by consuming everything, but by sowing forward. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a golden field, stalks heavy with grain, fruit glistening in the sun. This is not imagination, it is a picture of your spirit right now. The question is not whether the harvest exists, it is whether you will gather it wisely. Will you let it rot, or will you steward it so that nations are fed? Chosen one. Sharpen your sickle. Organize your baskets. Guard your humility. Multiply your resources. Share your abundance. This is the strategy of harvest, and it is yours to embrace. Do not fear the responsibility, it is proof that heaven trusts you. Step into it with wisdom, and your harvest will not just bless you, it will ripple through generations. Chosen one. Identity is the battlefield where the enemy wages his fiercest war. If he can convince you that you are ordinary, forgotten, or broken beyond repair, then he can steal your destiny before you ever rise to claim it. This is why so many of your struggles have not been about circumstances, but about self-perception. Every rejection, every harsh word, Every betrayal has been aimed at one goal: to distort your sense of who you are. But hear me, you are not the lies spoken over you. You are not the sum of your mistakes. You are not the labels others tried to pin to your soul. Deep within you lies a name, a story, and a destiny that were written long before the world's opinions could touch you. Heaven has always known who you are. The prophet Isaiah declared in the book of Isaiah, chapter 62, verse 2, "You will be called by a new name that the mouth of the Lord will bestow." This verse is not poetry alone, it is prophecy. It tells you that your identity does not come from wounds, from history, or from human tongues. It comes directly from the mouth of God, and when He names you, no one can rename you. Think of Jacob. His very name meant deceiver, a label tied to his failures. Yet one encounter with God changed everything. In the wrestling, Jacob received a new name, Israel, meaning one who struggles with God and prevails. The shift was not cosmetic, it was foundational. A deceiver became a patriarch, and a broken man became a nation. Think of Gideon, hiding in a winepress, fearful and insecure. He saw himself as weak, but heaven addressed him differently. Mighty warrior. The title did not match his feelings, but it matched his calling. And when Gideon aligned his identity with heaven's words, fear gave way to courage, and he led Israel to victory. Chosen one. Your story carries the same thread. There are names the world has tried to stitch onto you: failure, unworthy, overlooked, too much, not enough. These names have pressed against your heart, whispering lies into your spirit, but God is tearing them away. He is speaking a new name over you, one that carries destiny, not defeat, one that releases purpose, not pain. Reclaiming your identity requires honesty. You must confront the lies you have believed and bring them into the light. What accusations echo in your mind when you are alone? What words from the past still chain you? Write them, speak them, expose them, and then renounce them. Lies lose power when dragged into the open. Then, align yourself with what heaven says. Search the scriptures. Listen for His whisper, and let His words wash over you like cleansing rain. Beloved, child of God, royal priesthood, more than conqueror. These are not empty titles, they are the truest truths about you. Speak them until your soul believes them. Chosen one. Identity is also reclaimed through action. You do not wait until you feel chosen to act. Chosen. You move in obedience, and feelings follow. When Peter denied Jesus 3 times, shame could have defined him forever. But when Jesus restored him, Peter did not stay stuck in guilt. He stood boldly on Pentecost and preached with fire, his actions declaring a reclaimed identity. So too with you. Each act of obedience becomes a thread in the new name God is stitching over your life. Each prayer, each step of faith, each moment of courage is proof. You are no longer who you once were. You are walking in a reclaimed identity. Beloved, know this: your true name carries authority in the unseen realm. Demons do not tremble at the mention of your earthly surname. They tremble when heaven's name over you is spoken, because that name carries the weight of divine assignment. When you reclaim who you are, you also reclaim the authority attached to that identity. Do not despise the process. Identity is not rebuilt overnight. It is formed in the daily choices to agree with God instead of lies, to act in faith instead of fear, to let the Spirit shape your story rather than your past. Slowly, steadily, you will see the transformation not only in how you see yourself, but in how others see you. Picture yourself as a crown lying in the dust. Dirt may cover the jewels. Scratches may mar the surface. But the crown has not lost its value. All it needs is to be lifted, cleaned, and restored to the head it was made for. That is your story. You are a crown of glory in the hand of the Lord, and no amount of dust can erase your worth. Chosen one, rise into your true identity. Cast off the false names. Receive the new name. Heaven is speaking. Walk in the dignity, the authority, and the beauty of who you were always meant to be. For your destiny is not tied to who you were, it is tied to who you are becoming. Chosen one. Every crown is forged in battle. You cannot inherit glory without first enduring struggle. And the fight you face now is not against flesh and blood, it is against forces that have studied you, tracked you, and feared you since birth. The enemy knows the weight of your assignment, and that is why he has tried to wear you down. But the very battles that sought to destroy you are the same battles that will place the crown upon your head. The Apostle Paul's words still echo with power in the second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verse 7. I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Notice that Paul does not boast of riches or fame. His victory is not measured by possessions, but by endurance. To fight, to finish, to keep faith, this is what secures the crown of righteousness. Chosen one. Think of yourself as a warrior, standing in a field after battle. Your armor is dented, your body scarred, yet in your hands gleams the prize, your crown. Those dents and scars are not shameful, they are proof you endured. Heaven does not crown the untested, it crowns those who, despite their fear, chose to fight. And as you walk this path, you must know that you are not fighting alone. This space, this community, is like a campfire where warriors gather to share strength. Every like, every share, every word spoken in alignment is like fuel added to the flames. When you subscribe, you are not simply pressing a button, you are saying, I belong to this army. I will not fight in silence. When you donate, no matter how small, it is like placing oil in the lamp so that the fire does not go out. Your generosity becomes the very fuel that ensures the message keeps reaching others who desperately need it. Think of it this way: when soldiers march into battle, they do not march alone. Shields lock together, creating a wall of defense stronger than any single warrior could form. That is what your engagement does. It locks shields with others, building a wall of faith that darkness cannot penetrate. Alone, your light shines brightly. Together, our lights form a blaze that terrifies the enemy. Your crown is not only about what you endure, it is also about what you pass on. Imagine a torch in your hand, lit by the battles you survived. When you comment, when you share, you are extending that torch to another weary traveler, giving them light for their own road. A single flame passed on does not diminish your fire, it multiplies it. Chosen one. The battle before you is fierce, but so is your spirit. You were not chosen to cower. You were chosen to conquer. And even in moments when your knees shook and your voice trembled, you still stood. That stand, however small it felt, is why your crown awaits. But crowns are not placed on the heads of the distracted. They are given to the focused, the steadfast, the ones who keep showing up even when weary. That is why staying connected here matters. Every time you return, you are sharpening your sword, hearing reminders that keep you aligned. You are not feeding an algorithm, you are feeding your soul. And now, I call you to do more than listen. I invite you to plant your flag in the ground, to let heaven and earth know where you stand. Write these words as a comment: crown secured. This is not a casual phrase. It is a declaration. It means you are refusing to let the enemy steal what you have fought for. It means you see your scars not as defeats but as badges of honor. It means you are locking your eyes on the finish line, refusing to bow before the crown rests upon your head. By writing those two words, you are speaking faith into your own story. You are telling your soul, I will finish the race. You are telling others, we are in this together. And you are telling the unseen realm, my victory is sealed. Beloved, the fight is fierce, but your crown is sure. Your endurance is not in vain. Your faith is not wasted, and your obedience is not forgotten. Heaven watches, heaven records, and heaven rewards. Keep pressing forward, keep standing firm, and keep fighting the good fight. For soon, the mantle of warrior will give way to the crown of victor, chosen one. Every hidden act of obedience, every unseen tear, every moment you chose, surrender over rebellion is now bearing fruit. You are stepping into a season where the change will no longer remain invisible. The inner transformation that heaven has been cultivating in you will begin to manifest outwardly. What was once whispered in your spirit will now be seen in your life. The words of Jesus in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 16. Speak with clarity. You will know them by their fruits. This is the test of authenticity, not the noise of words, not the volume of declarations, but the visible fruit that proves the root. When the Spirit works deeply in you, the evidence cannot remain hidden forever. It begins to show in your relationships, your choices, your peace, and your resilience. You will notice the change first in yourself. Patterns that once enslaved you will begin to lose their grip. The bitterness you carried like a cloak will slip from your shoulders. Where there was heaviness, there will be lightness. Where fear once ruled, courage will quietly take its place. The same situations that once overwhelmed, you will now meet a different version of you, rooted, steady, unshaken. Others will notice too. The very people who doubted you will see a strength they cannot explain. Some may be drawn to it, longing for the same transformation. Others may resist, unsettled because your growth highlights their stagnation. Do not be surprised if your visible change attracts both honor and opposition. Light always draws both moths and predators. But remember, fruit is not for display, it is for nourishment. The evidence of your transformation is meant to feed others, to give them hope, to show them what is possible when God restores. Chosen one. Visible change also comes in resources. Doors that were once bolted shut will begin to open. Opportunities that eluded you will start to appear. It is not coincidence, it is the alignment of heaven responding to your obedience. Just as Joseph was lifted from prison to palace in a single day, you too will see sudden shifts that reveal the favor resting on your life. Your reputation will also shift. Where once your name was dismissed or spoken in scorn, it will begin to carry weight. Do not chase validation. It will come naturally as the fruit of your transformation becomes undeniable. Your integrity will speak louder than any defense. Your consistency will silence the lies. Your growth will testify for you. But hear this warning. When change becomes visible, pride lurks near. Do not forget the years of obscurity, the nights of wrestling, the long road of surrender that brought you here. Fruit does not grow overnight. It is the result of roots pressing deep in hidden soil. If you flaunt the fruit without remembering the root, you risk losing the very source of your strength. Chosen one. The visible change is also a responsibility. Fruit attracts hunger. People will look to you for guidance, strength, and hope. You cannot feed everyone, but you must be willing to offer what you can. Your peace will inspire others to seek their own. Your courage will embolden others to rise. Your forgiveness will soften hardened hearts. Do not underestimate how many lives will shift because yours became visible. And do not despise the small beginnings of change. Sometimes fruit appears slowly, an unexpected calm in a storm, a kind word when anger was easier, a single door opening after years of silence. Celebrate these small signs. They are not insignificant. They are the first fruits of a harvest that is only beginning. Chosen one. This is your season to walk with head lifted, not because you are flawless, but because transformation has marked you. You are no longer who you were, and that is enough. Every step you take now is a testimony. Every breath you breathe is a reminder that grace is real. Every visible change in your life is a mirror reflecting the glory of the one who chose you. The world will know you by your fruits. And your fruits will tell a story not of your strength, but of His faithfulness. Chosen one. This journey has led you through valleys of fire, mountains of testing, and rivers of refining. You have been broken and rebuilt, stripped and crowned, silenced and then given a voice. Now, as the path bends toward commissioning, heaven does not simply applaud your endurance. It entrusts you with authority. What has been poured into you must now be poured out. You are not called to carry light for yourself alone. You are called to carry it into a world that is desperate for it. Chosen one. The road behind you is not wasted. It is the foundation beneath your feet. Every valley of fire has forged resilience. Every mountain of testing has sharpened vision, and every river of refining has cleansed your soul. You stand now as proof that transformation is possible, even in the harshest wilderness. And as you step forward, know this: the crown upon your head is not fragile, it is eternal. The voice that once faltered has become a trumpet of truth. The authority placed within you is not for silence, but for impact. You are not merely surviving, you are commissioned to shape atmospheres, break chains, and light paths for countless others. The voice of Jesus in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 28, verse 19, still reverberates across centuries. Go, therefore, and make disciples of all nations. This is more than instruction. It is a charge. It is the handing over of responsibility, the transfer of divine weight. What began as whispers in secret is now a mission made public. Chosen one. Consider this. Every moment of testing you endured was shaping not just your survival, but your message. The nights you thought would crush you, the betrayals that left you bleeding, the sacrifices that felt unbearable, all of it becomes fuel for your calling. You cannot lead with borrowed words. You can only lead with lived experience. And your life has been the training ground for the message you now carry. Commissioning is both an honor and a burden. It is the honor of being chosen to partner with heaven in reshaping earth. But it is also the burden of responsibility. You carry truth now, and truth is weighty. You carry light, and light exposes. You carry authority, and authority must be wielded carefully. Yet do not shrink back. Heaven would not entrust this to you if you were not ready. The commissioning also means you are no longer hidden. For years, you felt unseen, overlooked, even forgotten. But those hidden years were the womb of your destiny. Just as a seed grows in darkness before it pushes through the soil into light, you have grown in obscurity. Now the season shifts. The soil breaks. The seed rises. And what was hidden becomes visible. The world will now witness what heaven has always known. You are chosen. But remember, commissioning is not about grandeur. It is not about thrones, titles, or applause. It is about service. To be chosen is to be poured out. The crown you wear is not made of jewels. It is made of scars that testify of survival, of oil pressed from crushing, of fire endured. This crown is not for vanity, but for responsibility. You are commissioned to carry hope, to speak truth, to fight for justice, to love relentlessly. And you are not sent alone. The same Spirit that carried you through wilderness will walk with you into nations. The same voice that whispered in secret will thunder through you in public. The same hands that held you in the valley will guide you on the mountaintop. Your commissioning is not a departure from His presence, it is an expansion of it. Chosen one, take this moment in. Feel the weight of it. You are being handed a mantle of responsibility that stretches beyond your own life. Your yes today will ripple through generations. The battles you fought will become victories. Your children and their children will walk in. The legacy you leave will outlive you. You are a torchbearer now. Walk into the night carrying flame. You are a messenger now. Speak even when voices rise against you. You are a warrior now. Stand even when opposition surrounds you. You are a shepherd now. Lead with tenderness, even when the flock resists. Chosen one. This is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of your mission. Heaven has written your name, sealed your destiny, and marked you for impact. The commissioning is complete. Step forward with courage. Walk with authority, and live with the unshakable knowledge that you are chosen for such a time as this. Chosen one. Pause here and breathe in the gravity of what has unfolded. You have journeyed through awakening, through burden, through test, through mantle, through fire, through betrayal, through restoration. Every section of this path has not merely been words, it has been a mirror, reflecting what heaven is doing in you. And now, as the final charge has been given, the question is no longer whether you are chosen. The question is, how will you walk as chosen? Carry this with you. You are not fragile. You are not forgotten. And you are not forsaken. You are a vessel of divine fire, a carrier of light, a steward of mysteries entrusted to only a few. When storms come, remember the refining. when betrayal cuts. Remember the crown. When doubt whispers, remember the mantle. And when fear threatens, remember the commissioning. Your best days are not behind you. They stretch before you like an open horizon. Every scar you bear is now a badge of honor. Every tear, a seed of joy. Every battle, a doorway to authority. You are unshakable, unstoppable, unbreakable, and the world has yet to see the fullness of what you will become. So walk boldly, live intentionally, love fiercely, for you are God's chosen one, and this is only the beginning.